Oh, all right, buddy. Welcome back to Job's Haunted Town. Yeah, it's time to finally put it back together. Well, at least most of the way. Got the piston rod finally, so at least we can get the rotating assembly put back together. I'm still waiting on... Just get my towel here because this is still dirty. Side cover. I'm waiting on the ARC side cover. It will look just like this rod. This is, zoom you guys in there, this is the super stock ARC. It is the, let me see, the number 6350. Beautiful, beautiful piston rod. And I'm waiting on the cover, but at least we got this stuff. I think they had to make the cover because they said it's going to be a bit for the cover and the flywheel. Set that back there. The flywheel is a billet flywheel also, and it'll be on point. And it has the advanced timing on it, so you need the advanced timing to work with everything, and then you make lots of horsepower. It's real good. And on here, let me show you the dipper. Right here. There's a hole that goes from here, if you see in there, little bitty hole that comes through to in here. See the hole in there? So the pressurized oil, when this dips, oil will squirt up in, come through in here, and lube the bearings that will get pressed into here. After we measure them with some plastic gauge made by good old Clevite. If you guys have ever heard of the best bearings ever, that's Mr. Clevite. This plastic gauge is how you determine your spacing in here on the crankshaft. Luckily it's all apart, so it's going to be real easy to figure out. And we only got one cylinder, one rod, so yeah, it's not too bad. And the way we got to start, when you get these rods, these bolts are super tight. They torque them down just to make sure everything's going to be good, and they send you a done piece that's ready to be taken apart. So you have to de-torque these. You can't just pop them loose. This is what I do. I use a soak-up pad and just seat that right there. No need to tighten it a lot. It just has to hold it. It's just barely snug. See, it's not even, you know, it's not doing anything crazy. And just make sure you guys are tuned in over here. There we go. Okay. And we are going to go ahead and actually, I got my torque wrench out for setting it down, but we don't need that to break it loose. Just a good ratchet just to break it loose. And it's in there good. It's not going to move. The jaws are just barely holding it, and I got the pad in there so I don't scratch the new rod, because you really got to crack these loose. They're torqued to 170 inch-pounds. There we go, that one's good. Oh yeah. That one's good too. And I always like to see that it's tight. If I get one that's not tight, we got a problem. Pop these out real quick. And these are, now that it's out of here, I'll show you. It has a special washer on there that's actually, it's a conical washer. See if I can slide it down a little bit. It's a washer that seats into the bolt, so that's very crucial. And it's a 12-point ARP bolt, so yeah, super strong bolt. And you got to have the 12-point socket to match it. And that is a 1/4 inch 12-point, so you got to have that. There's one. There's two. We can go ahead and pop that out. Good. That can stay in there. And then on here, if you guys see the serrated edges, it only locks together one way. See how it seats together absolutely perfectly, even though it's serrated? It's pretty amazing how they get that done. But also, too, on here, it's not a biggie. Let me go ahead and just pop this bolt out. There we go. Even if you move this all around, oh no, what did I do? Which way does it go back together? See the little dot? And see the little dot? Yeah, that's how it goes. Perfect. And it's fun, like you can, the serrations are, it's just neato. How they machine that to me now is just amazing. And I'll just go ahead and show you guys now. See how there's 2 holes on the one and 1 hole on the other? 2 holes on one bearing, 1 hole on the other. So, yeah, very specific. Make sure it goes the right way. And no funny business here. When you push this in, push it in lightly with your fingers. No craziness. If you see here, we got the 2 holes. We got the 2 holes. And there's a notch right here. The notch locks in right there. Get one side lined up right there on the edge where it needs to go. Like right there. And then push that side down. Good to go. No funny business. Don't spread it apart. Don't do anything funny because you don't want to misshape your bearing. And we need to just slide it over there just a little bit. There we go. So it's lined up with the oil holes. 100%. Looking good. Same thing here. See our notch and our notch. Notch in the housing. Or notch in the rod and notch in the bearing. That goes together. Line up our oil hole. Get it good. That's good. Push that side down. Seat it. Good to go. Bearing is installed. That's good. So, next place we need to go here. Crankshaft. Plastic gauge. Just go ahead and slide off. That's our timing gear for our camshaft. Go ahead and slide that off. And the keyway is locked in there good, so no big deal there. And get our towel here. Clean, clean, clean. Everything. If you even think it might not be, clean it again. Alright, that looks good. And we're just going to test fit here just to see. Oh, that looks great. That fits in there perfect. It fits perfect. And we'll line up our dots here that are not lined up. There's our, okay, there's our 2 dots. Yeah, that actually looks great. Feels great too. So yeah, I already know that's going to work wonderful. But what we have to do here is see if this is it. See if everybody's going to sit here happily. Actually, I need to just get it up on here. There we go. And what we need to do, the plastic gauge, if you guys look on here, that is the gauge spectrum. Essentially, it's a little thin wire of plastic. See the little green plastic wire? That is the plastic gauge right there. So we just need to trim off a little piece of that, put it in here. That will squish out to the the width equals the tolerance that we have on the bearing. So we need 25 10,000ths, which is, let me see, I saw it on here earlier. Right there. No, that's 025. We need 0025. I thought I saw 002 on here. Must be on, oh, that's, I was looking at the wrong side. One side's metric, one side is standard, as you see here. So yeah, we're in between There's 0010, 0015. That's our smallest. We can go from 0015 to 0040. So we need to be right about here at 002. That green stripe right there is where we need to be. So let's see. And what we need to do here is just trim off a little piece. Open this up. Straighten it out so it's not kinked or nothing. Trim off just a little piece that's the same width as your bearing, or roughly, you know, the same distance. Need to trim off just a little bit. There we go. Little piece. Right there. Well, and of course it fell down. Scoot this back a little bit so you guys can see. My plastic gauge is right there on top. And I want to make sure to put it where there's not an oil hole so it doesn't squish into the hole. So, make sure again here where my dot was. Again, my dot's on that side on the back. And then my dot here is right there. So that's going to go that way. Make sure my plastic gauge is straight, which it is. Seat that down on there. Make sure it holds the plastic gauge in there the whole time. Okay. Grab our socket and our bolt here. This one goes back here. There we go. Snugged on down there. Go ahead and put the ratchet on in here. And then once again, just make sure our dots are lined up so we can visually see that. And I'm holding this so it doesn't spin. I don't want the rod to move. Use my big belly to hold it. Squishing it against my big belly. Go ahead and snug it on down. Oh yeah, that's good. And I'm betting we need to eventually go to 170 inch-pounds when we torque it in the engine. We're definitely over 120 there because I've done it enough times. Go ahead and pop back loose here. There we go. There we go. All right. And essentially I know with this green cleveite, if it squished that at all, we're going to be good. Because this is from this if it squishes this at all, that's it's 10 thousandth, and it will go all the way up to 35 10,000th. So if it squishes it at all, we're going to be good, pretty much. And I just tossed my bearing or my washer off of there. Make sure that doesn't go anywhere. Stay on there, please. We need you. And this right now is really just when you cross your fingers and always hope for the best. But I'm pretty sure we're going to be okay. Because ARC does a great job building their rods, but they don't know about your crankshaft. Looks really good. That's absolutely perfect. And I missed the oil hole. Yeah, not much on the crankshaft there. Most of it stayed on the rod. That's good. Set that there. And now we will come over here with our, right there. Yeah. If you guys can see the glare, we are almost exactly 10,000th. So we are spot on. That's a cunny. That's a squish down cunny. That's tiny. That's why the Cleveite plastic gauge is crucial, because nothing can measure 10,000th without having really expensive measuring equipment or a strip plastic gauge. Good to go. Good to go. Now we'll just clean that off there with a little bit of brake clean and we'll be good. One sec here. We get things cleaned up. Okie dokie. Got everything all cleaned up here, and we got it clean for like assembly. So yeah, it's clean. Double, triple clean. Make sure we're good here. All right, we're lined up here. Everything is on. And what we need to do is go ahead and assemble this good is here. And what I always like to do is make sure that, you know, everything's going to be good. I always like to put it so the super stock is facing out, and that way the dipper, or actually the super stock is facing in. So that way the dipper, yeah, okay, our two dots line up there, and it's going to spin this way. Like that, essentially clockwise. And the dipper, you want to have oil, you know, going into it as it's dipping. So that's how that works. You don't want the dipper facing the wrong way. So you got to install the rod the correct way. Otherwise, no good. So the piston doesn't really matter which way it goes, but the way it came out was this way. So I know that, or like that. So the piston rod was sticking out, or the pin was sticking out this way. So it goes like that. So we're going to put it back in that way. And all we need, all we need to do is just get a little bit of lube in here on everything, because our pin has no lube on it. It's dry. Rod is too. If you guys ever seen me use this, it's a squirt bottle with oil in it. It's got 1040 in it. So yeah, that's how that works. Go ahead and lube this up a little bit. Oh, yeah. It's funny, it felt super tight when there was no lube in it. But now, I can feel that it's just buttery smooth, so all is good. That's just wonderful. Good to go. And I kind of feel one little burr, but I think that's just the oil hole just barely catching up on it, so we're good there. That feels really good, actually, so yeah, we're good. Once again, that's just part of the blueprint, checking everything out, making sure it all fits before you try and assemble it. So the dot's going to face in, we're going that way. Piston is going this way. Boop, 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 just like this. Go ahead and slide this together. Actually, I should put a little bit of oil in the piston here too. There we go. Now we can slide it together. Oh yeah, like butter. Oh yeah, that feels really good. Okay, now we just got to put our circlip in. And there's a little ringland down here that it locks into, so we just got to lock the circlip into the ringland, seat it in place. And let me grab my pliers here. Actually, I need to go ahead and wipe my hands off. There we go. And line up our circlip on our pliers here, like so. And get it mushed down in here. And yeah, I did let it go there because I realized I need to get it down in there a little further. That's good. And there we go. That's in. And it's locked in place. You always want to make sure that it's locked in there. Well, see, it's not locked in right there. So we just need to press it down right there. Grab our flat screwdriver here. Push that in so it locks in the recess all the way around. That's not going to come back out. That's good. Muy bueno. Feeling great. That feels, it's so buttery good. All right. Let's go ahead and get some of this in here too. Because this block is clean. I cleaned everything on this block just to get it as clean as I could humanly get it before we re-oil it. All right, there we go. Okay, so once again, that goes that way. Notch goes on the back. Dots on the back. We'll go ahead and seat this into place. And the way I like to do my oiler rings, let me slide this over here and I'll show you guys. Next, I need to go ahead and slide the crankshaft back in too. That's easier that way so you don't have to worry about getting it out of there. So let's go ahead and clean that. Give that a little oil. That's good. Go ahead and slide that back in our block here. Feeling good. Okay, so our rings up here, you know, your ring gap. Let me just go ahead and show you guys here. The ring gap here, you have to direct your ring gap. You don't want them, so as you see there, they're all lined up. We don't want them lined up, otherwise your compression will go whoop, right out through there. So the top one goes there. The middle one goes over here. Middle one's facing that way. Top one's facing that way. And my oiler on the bottom, I face towards me. Just like that. Oiler's facing towards me. That one's that way. That one's that way. Good to go. And on these, it's not a big deal. Get my crankshaft turned around so the rod will go down below it. There we go. And you just pretty much just squish them in. Squish them in and push down. Okay. Get our top ring facing the right way here. There we go, she's in. All right, make sure that's lined up with our crankshaft down here now. Yep, we're moving it up and down there, so we're good. We'll go ahead and slide that down about halfway. You can see we're in there now. Now we just need to put our bottom cap on and put our bolts in. Okay, I was wondering, I was thinking the dot faced out. Yeah, I got the engine backwards. I'm thinking this is the pull start side. This is where the flywheel goes. This is the pull start. My brain's thinking about filming, not building engines. Okay, back to building an engine. Let's put this in the right way so the dipper doesn't hit. Jeez, oh Ben. Okay, yeah, the dot's facing out now and I can see it. You should be able to see the dot. It's facing out. Jeez. Okay, let's try this again. Ah, there we go. Now we got a full rotation. Geez, oh, bees, oh. Thinking about everything backwards here. And it feels great, too. So, yeah, we're good there. That feels awesome. And what we need to do now is just finish snugging everything down here. And we'll be good. And then we're going to torque it. So let's go ahead and dial this up to... We're going to go about halfway. This is the old Ipalo inch-pound torque wrench. And we're going to go about halfway. So we're right... Yeah, there's 110. That's a good place to start. Get this going the right direction. There we go. And snug them equally on both sides. Don't just wrench one side 100%. That's good. There we go. There we go. There's 110 inch-pounds. Oh yeah, it feels buttery still. Okay. Let's go ahead and go up to 150. There's 150. There we go. 150 inch-pounds. Oh, feeling good. Feeling real good. Okay, we're going on up. 170. Here we come. Right there. And if you're using Molly Lube, go to 150. If you're using oil on the bolts, go to 170. I'm using oil, so 170 inch-pounds. Here we go. Hold it like a baby and torque it like you love it. All right. Thank you, Mr. Ipalo, for doing some good work. All right. Good, good, good. That's good. Oh, that feels really good. That feels wonderful. Okay. Bottom end is fully assembled. Yeah. Okay, let's go ahead and slide on our cam gear now. Because the one thing we may have to clearance, or we're probably going to have to clearance, is this camshaft. The rod's going to hit this camshaft. We'll just have to give it a little smoothing. I'll show you guys here one second. Let me make sure this bore for the cam's clean in here. Get a little bit of oil in it. There we go. And we'll go ahead and drop this in time. Actually, I got the gear on there backwards. Because there's a dot on the gear. That needs to be timed. See the dot right there? So leave the dot facing out. That goes right there. So the dot's right there. Dot on the camshaft is right there. So line that dot up. Actually need to rotate it around a little bit so that they're able to line up. Okay, here we go. Zoom you guys in here. See how the two dots are lined up now? We're in time. So the dot on the crank gear is there. Dot on the cam gear is here. So we're good. That means the cam is in time with the engine. We don't have our valves back in yet, but we got to get this figured out. So we're just going to leave that right there. Make sure it's in where we want it. You know, it's lined up, so that's good. And we're going to spin it here. This one actually doesn't hit. Wow, it doesn't hit. It's super close, but it doesn't. I wonder if they changed the rod design a little bit, because they used to. Wow, it doesn't. It's so close. Oh, that's awesome. Zoom you guys in here again, see if you guys can see in there. The camshaft, usually you'd have to grind a little dimple right there on the camshaft because it would hit the rod. But this one clears 100%, so we're good. Like, usually when you'd spin it, you could feel it notching. Let me go ahead and just slide this side cover on and make sure that everything lines up with the side cover and we're still good. Because I thought for sure I was going to have to notch this thing. Make sure this is all clean here. And that's all good. Okay. And we can line it up with the dowels here so I know it'll all line up. Okay, that's good. Good. Okay, that's good. It's on there all the way. And it doesn't hit. Yes, thank you, Arc. Yeah, they make some wonderful stuff. Oh, that feels so good too, guys. Like, that doesn't take much to spin over at all. This is going to be a banger, especially with a, you know, blown with a turbo. It's going to be nuts. All right. So let's get this back over here. See if it's going to behave and come off here. There we go. Okay. That can go there. Now we can slide the camshaft back out. Slide the gear off. Need to put our valves back in. And here's our exhaust valve. Everything's all cleaned up, looking good. Go ahead and oil our bores here. That looks good. Get some oil in here for our block. That looks good. And we'll go ahead and drop our valves in here. There's our exhaust. And actually I need to get my retainer and my spring in here too. That goes in. Let me go ahead and just get the muffler off here so you guys get a little better see here. Yep, just go ahead and throw that on the floor. Be fine down there. Cheers. Okay. Get that pulled up. Get our goodies in there. Okay, that's all good. Make sure everything lines up here. Sweet. Okay. And yeah, I know this probably isn't recommended. It's just what I do. These are my valve spring installation tools. I slide the valve spring and the retainer down, push the spring in, or push the valve in, slide the retainer up, pull it in place. It's not the most fun thing to record because it is a bit tedious. But both valves are now in. You guys can see in there, valves are in. Everything's looking great up here, so yeah, looking real good. Looking muy bueno. Now what we need to do is get our lifters cleaned off here. These are essentially just a solid lifter. Get a little bit of oil on there, a little fresh oil. And we'll go ahead and lay this on its side. And this one is for the exhaust, so that one can wait. We'll put in the intake first, because it goes in back. A little bit of oil on there. Okay. Now, both of our lifters are installed. So once we get our camshaft back in, everything will be good. So I can see a little bit of something right there. I don't know what that is. It's not dirt, but I don't know what it is. But it's gone now. Okay, so both of our lifters are up. That's good. Go ahead and put our gear back on here for our camshaft. And let's rotate that around so we can get it lined up. Right there. And get this rotated around so we can get it lined up. And there we go. That is in time. Sorry about my oil bottle sitting in the way the whole time. Everything's got to be oiled, so yeah, everything gets covered in oil up here. But camshaft is in. It's in time. Everything's good. Let's go ahead and slide on our side cover here so we can go ahead and put some pressure against the camshaft and open the valves. Okay, that looks good. Let me just get a little bit of oil in here in the bores. Okay, that's good. Slide this on here. There we go. All right. And now, if we look up here on the top, intake valve opening. Exhaust valve opening. Actually, I'm going the wrong way here, so let's go the right way. Okay, so there's top of the stroke. Everybody's hanging out at top. It's funny, you can see the little bit of valve overlap in the cam too, because the valves are open. Same time there, the very top. So we're going to come down, intake valve opens. Cylinders filling full of gasoline and air from the intake. Intake's closing. This is compression stroke. Piston's coming back up for compression. There's compression. Whoa! And bang! It goes back down. So we're on the downstroke now. That's power going down. Now we're on all the way at the bottom. The exhaust valve opens. Exhaust goes out because the piston's coming back up, pushing it back out, and then intake valve comes back open, and we're on to the next power stroke. That's how a 4-cycle works. Intake, combustion, or intake, compression, power, exhaust. Intake, compression, exhaust. I missed one there. Intake, compression, power, exhaust. That's how a 4-stroke works. Intake here, exhaust here, good to go. That's why I love these little engines. They're just about as good as you can get. As far as learning, if you want to learn stuff, build one of these and figure it out. Everything feels so good. My valves are working great. Yeah, guys, this is going to be a banger. Go ahead and pop this off again here real quick. because this is not going back on there. This will get replaced with a side cover with a bearing. See how that's just a bushing essentially. It'll wear out this bushing and leak oil and not good. So, and throw our crankshaft off, and that's not good. So, yeah, that is looking awesome. Bottom end is done. And now, copper head gasket. That can go on when I get it the right way. Like that. And bolt the head on. Once we get a side cover, bolt that on. Once we get the flywheel, bolt that on. Ignition pickup goes back up so we can put our coil on there, get our spark plug sparking. Yeah. Yeah. Guys, I cannot wait for this thing to be done and in a little hot rod where we can go do something a whole lot of fun and make a bunch of horsepower on this little bitty engine. I love these things so much. We owe these guys a big old thanks too, because that piston rod is amazing, especially with the bearing. If it goes bad, you change out the bearing. It's not a big deal. No big deal. It's all built for it. So you just change it out, put it back together, done. Yeah. Yeah. And also here too, I didn't really show you guys this. This is my pitot tube. This is the boosted air will come in here and go out to my plenum, which will, this one's made for a dual carb setup. This is a single carb, so it'll only have one hole. It'll only have one of these holes. So it'll have one hole, which will provide boost to here, which will fill the bowl because we blocked off that there. So, yeah, that's going to be awesome. And I think this one now, it deserves a second sticker because this is now a Job's Arc ripper. And yeah, that's going to be one badass little Raptor. 5-horse Raptor coming at you. Way more to come here soon as we get something for it to go in. It might look something like this too. We'll see, guys. Way more to come. Thanks for watching. As soon as we get these other parts, as soon as they show up here, we're going to get this thing bolted together and fire it up and make a bunch of noise. And hopefully I'm going to get a... we'll see, because I kind of want to just fire it off with this muffler and really see what it does. But we're probably going to turbocharge it here very soon. So, yeah. Like, share, subscribe, guys. Way more to come. Thanks for watching. When in doubt, figure it out. The truth will set you free. Kickstands up, guys. Let's ride.